400 years ago. There was a small city, Amsterdam. Ordinary, quiet, almost forgotten on the edge of Europe. But that city was about to start something that would change the entire world. Even back then, people began to believe in something new. Whoever you were, you could be part of this game. Rich or poor, it did not matter. You could invest, you could earn. This idea became the foundation of what we now call capitalism. Years passed, and another city stepped onto the stage, London. Harsher, more crowded, more ruthless, but just as powerful. London grew. Despite hardships, despite crises, it never stopped, and eventually it became the largest city in the world. Meanwhile, across the ocean, another city was rising, New York, once called New Amsterdam. Now it had a completely different identity. This city was growing upward, toward the sky, rising higher every single day. But the real beginning of the story goes much further back. The year was 1594, a spring morning. In Amsterdam, 10 men gathered. They were not kings or nobles, just merchants. They traded wood, salt, and fish. But there was a problem. They could not enter the most profitable trade in the world, the spice trade. That trade had a single owner, Portugal. And that day a dangerous idea was spoken. We can break this monopoly. Because Amsterdam was ready. It had money, knowledge, and ships. One of the men at the table was Dirk van Os, a trader, but also a refugee, because Europe was at war. On one side was William the Silent, on the other was Philip II of Spain. The war displaced countless people. Thousands came to Amsterdam, and the city was reborn. Now everyone had a purpose, to build a new life and seize opportunity. Plans were made, maps were drawn, and a decision was taken. They would travel to distant lands. One man was chosen, Cornelis de Houtman. His mission was clear: observe, learn, and return. Then the great journey began. 3 ships, 249 people. But this was not an adventure. It was a fight for survival. Disease spread. Mutinies broke out. People died. When they returned, only 80 remained. Exhausted, weakened, but they had succeeded. They carried only a few sacks of spices. But those spices changed everything. Because now they knew. It could be done. From that moment on, everything accelerated. New expeditions began, new wealth arrived. And then, in 1602, history was made. The Dutch East India Company was founded. This was not just a company, it was a new system. Now anyone could invest, not just the rich, craftsmen, workers, even servants. For the first time, ordinary people became part of the economy. But there was a problem. The money was locked for 10 years. People did not want to wait, so they found a solution: selling shares. They started on a bridge, then continued in a church. Without even realizing it, they created the first stock exchange in history. Amsterdam was no longer just a city. It was a center of trade, a center of money, a center of ideas. And the story that began here changed the world. But this is not just a story of success, it is also the birth of a system that creates opportunities, but also risks. And maybe the most important question is this: is this system truly for everyone?